That feels
Yeah,
racist. That feels racist.
that's
No, that's
problematic,
just like
Tyler.
a bar made by a guy who's trying to
Yeah,
like, who thought a bar would be like really easy to manage and it would be like
right.
just quick money, but now he realized, oh shit, a bar's really hard. So
Hmm.
he like wasted his life trying to make it work, but it's not really working that well.
It's been like a week since this bar was established. Um, And this is a very mean build to throw at the players, especially a bunch of inexperienced players. But I was just excited. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. I can build like this build, he can trip, he has reach. Oh my god. And then you guys got to, like it was actually happening. And during the fight I was like, oh shit. Oh no. They have no idea how to handle this at all. Yeah, yeah, something like that. I think one of you guys got caught in it, but you were fine.
Probably me.
No.
It was usually Orcus.
Well,
God of pain, God of suffering.
It was a real
uh,
Sisyphean life for him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hello, hello, and welcome to A Slight Chance of Adventure, a Pathfinder First Edition campaign diary podcast. My name is Tyler. I was the DM of this campaign. And with me, I have two of my players, Gavin
Hello, I'm Gavin. I played Shanla, the human oracle.
and Tom.
Hi, I played Orcus, a Slayer hobgoblin.
Last time, the party tried to throw a party, or at least take part in a party that was being thrown. They helped organize. Um, and that party got attacked by some evil, mean guys, and they fought those people. Some of them killed some of them got away, and we pick up after that. Yeah, so we pick up in the town of Perico, um, town, village, city, town, town. um, and it's still reeling from the attack. You guys wake up on your ship. You've been sleeping on pretty consistently. Um, and you go to speak with Druin. I'm sure you both remember Druin.
Yep.
Um, and I think the reason you're talking to him and what you do next is because I think last time or at some point you got a letter from Forces, Orcus's dad, saying, "Come talk to me." Um, I think that was last session.
I
Uh,
miss you, son.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure that's why.
That was not what he said.
I think the exact quote was, "You've done well. Come see me." Um,
Yeah,
so yeah.
something like
Uh,
that.
so you guys do that. Um, you arrive in Rantai. You on a set of docks that are controlled by forces. You guys are met at the docks, and Orcus is escorted away to meet with his father by himself, just by himself. Do you remember this first meeting with him? Because something interesting does kind of happen.
I
Tom?
do kind of remember. I don't remember the words, but I remember the vibe mostly.
Oh yeah. What, what was it like?
How
Intense.
did it
It
taste?
was it was a very it was tense because the relationship, while it hadn't really been like talked about,
Mhm.
it was immediately clear upon the conversation happening through
Right.
like the
The
letters
sort
and
of
stuff.
dynamic you two had had. We had established that you'd had. Very controlling, I'm sure. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it
Yeah.
says here Orcus meets with his father, attempts to cut ties, but changes his mind when the others are threatened. So apparently, I sort of remember this. You like go in and you're like, I don't want anything to do with this slaver stuff anymore. I'm done. And he's like, okay, but you got some nice friends over there. Be a shame. Be a real shame. Um, so do you remember that?
Yeah, that does ring a bell.
Does it? Yeah. Okay. I'm curious, Gavin. Do you remember your impression of Forces? Because I'm sure you'd heard about him here and there. Through
um,
Orcus's.
Seems like a good businessman.
Oh yeah,
Um, I don't know. Pretty good definition of lawful evil.
yeah, 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 definitely.
If I had to define him as a character.
Right, right. Well, so Orcus goes back. Um, oh yeah, I think he like asks. I think the purpose of this, I forget the exact purposes of the meeting because I don't know what was actually talked about. But I think it was like he wanted to get you guys to do another job for him, kill a particular guy, some drug lord who never comes up, and then I think he was also just trying seeing if like Orcus was interested in continuing to work with him, which Orcus clearly wasn't. So he was like, okay, I need to keep for various reasons. We'll find out in a bit. I think next time. Um, he was very intent on keeping Orcus working with him for at least a bit. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, um, the next day, Orcus goes and meets with the chief. He talks with the chief, but not much of significance happens. I think I just the chief is like the leader of Rantai, and the chief is having a power struggle with the fleet master, and you guys are technically on his side, kind of, at least in this power struggle. And but I think I just had you talk to him just because it felt like you should, but I don't think much
Yeah.
happened. You guys return to Perico. Shanla buys some spell storing armor. Figures buys some. Yes, I remember you talked to me. Spell storing is a thing that lets you cast a spell
On someone
on.
who's attacking you, and we had made up a version that casts a spell on the wearer of the armor.
Yeah, which allowed Shanla to have her healing prepped and ready to go. Um, short notice.
I
Hmm?
One thing I used on it was sanctuary,
Right.
which was a spell that when someone goes to hit you and they fail a will save, they can't hit you.
You just don't.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay. Didn't didn't realize you're cool like that.
Paris buys some quick metal bracers. Don't worry about what those are. And then you guys meet with Priscilla and decide to go explore some underwater ruins. And so the next day, you guys go to take the boat to the area where the ruins are probably located. Priscilla thinks. And this is why I had introduced Priscilla originally. I wanted this. This is why she was originally brought in, was so she could go get you guys to go do this. What you're about to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, so Elika goes down, turns into a shark, and explores underwater and finds it. Finds like some ruins that are clearly like, oh, this is a city. It's the sunken city of Gugal, is what it's called. Everyone heads down to the city and eventually makes their way to the city ruler's mansion. And after some exploring, encounter some Sahagin and kill them. Sahagin are like underwater shark murder
People.
people. Yeah, they're generally just
People
like
is stretching.
yeah. I think they're treated a lot like underwater orcs
Whoa.
in a lot of ways, at least in Pathfinder. Um,
Yeah. I
I
think
think
that
they're,
is like basically their description.
but they're just okay. Do you need a race of people to throw at your players? They're Sahagin. When they're in the water, and that's where we actually ended the session. Um,
Hmm.
one thing I remember is I did not actually. I don't know why, but I didn't have anything in this session prepped for the city. So I remember this like the Sahagin encounter was just like, I need something underwater. I remember hearing about Sahagin. I quickly go on archives of nothing and throw those at you. Um, they were not. This is not pre-prepared.
Sometimes you just gotta make up an encounter.
Yeah.
It is a bit odd that it's like the encounter's like, let's go, you guys should go underwater. Oh no. I have
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm confused is what I was thinking. Like, I feel like maybe I'd mentioned to you guys before she wanted to do this, and you guys were like, okay, let's go do this. We don't have much else to do. Which is kind of funny in context because you guys have just had like been attacked by the fleet master, and you guys are like, oh, let's go check out some underwater ruins. It seems
Mm-hmm.
fun.
I think it was a more there's nothing we can do at the moment
Yeah, yeah.
about that.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
So to be productive while waiting, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I think in for some reason that you guys go underwater blindsided me slightly, which is weird because I should have had that prepped. But anyway, we've established I wasn't great at preparing at this point in my career.
Yeah.
Um, so that was the end of that session. How many days? 4 weeks and 2 days had passed. So the next session, we're down in the city. Um, you go to the main dining hall and fight an elemental. Well, it with the stats of an elemental. I think it was in. I called it a. I think it was like some sort of like undead mix elemental thing that I called a soul
Mm.
flood, which is original, but it's just a huge elemental reskin. Um, with some
Okay.
negative energy stuff. I remember this
The
was
main thing I remember was it being huge, honestly.
yeah. I also remember this fight was a slog, a bit of a slog. I think you guys got
Yeah.
multiple crits on it, but I actually properly applied Amorphous this time, and so like crits didn't work, sneak attack didn't work, so you guys just slogged through it. It's just a big HP thing. Um,
3 dolphins died, I remember.
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, Pathfinder likes to make things that can't be crit.
Yeah, it's an interesting mechanic sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, so on the roof there are some carvings that you guys look at of this room, the central hall. The roof depicts elves leading the Tupi and the Tupi enslaving the Waka. Um, the Tupi are the people who are the tribe members who are mostly on Rantai and are currently known for being slavers, and the Waka are generally on Waka Wanatuma. Sorry.
They're also not the
The
current
Waka and the
preferred
Hibi and
slaves.
the GB and the
Mm.
AA.
Priscilla points out a symbol on some of the elves in the carvings, and Ferris spots the elvish symbol on the plaza in the distance. Okay, so this is you guys like navigating, like, hey, there's that symbol. Hey, there's that symbol. Let's go over to that
Mm-hmm.
building underwater. Um,
Oh yeah, do keep in mind. I think Priscilla gave us all water breathing
yeah, yeah,
potions
yeah.
for this.
That hadn't been. I guess that was assumed, but yeah, she had like a bunch of water breathing potions. Like, here you go.
We
You
just
just didn't
held
have
our
to-
breath for a very long
yeah,
time.
yeah. Actually, before we get into this, because we're about to get into like more of the history, how much do you two remember of what the actual history of the Wakatupi archipelago was? What do you remember? Because I know you were told at the time, but I wonder how much you retain.
I distinctly remember that every couple hundred years or something like that, the island goes over like a huge cycle of destruction and then rebirth
Yeah,
and then a new island shows up. That's like the
you
main thing I remember.
do you remember why?
Uh, because the two gods Arcturus and I forget what the evil one
Apollyon?
is called.
Apollyon.
Apollyon got had like a fist fight down there in a Denny's parking lot that was nearby, and that caused the entire area to just kind of maintain the well.
Yeah,
Shit,
I can explain
I failed to explain it properly.
yeah. Tom, do you remember much? Do you remember any more than that?
I remember all of. I do remember all of what Gavin said.
Yeah.
I believe the main thing other than that was there were elves, and now there aren't really that many elves.
Hmm.
But there was also the idea of a lot of the history had been lost, but we learned that there are the like safe houses for people. It's kind of
Mm,
why there are still people around here.
right, right. Um, yeah. So I can
That
run down the actual history a little bit. I'll do a quick run by. I think I'll do a deeper dive
I do remember
later
we
on.
never really touched. Like I don't remember how much we actually like dealt
Yeah,
with it, but there was the cult of Apollyon that was always around.
yeah, yeah. That's more of a modern day thing I'm talking about. So I
Yeah,
remember like the
that's more
history
modern.
got mentioned to you guys here and there, and like over the course of the campaign, it all was revealed, but there was never like I don't think a moment where like it all got put together or we like or like I made you guys remember much. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the thing was that so back in the Age of Uncertainty, which is the age before the current age, which is the Age of Ambition. Don't worry about it. Um, there was the Waka and the Tupi, but and they were fighting each other. Just like they had their one island, and they were fighting each other on it. And one of the groups, or I think both of the groups, prayed to Apollyon to destroy the other, and they both got their wish. Apollyon showed up and was wrecking shit, or at least he was like his presence started to be felt. If he actually showed up, everybody would be dead.
Yeah.
um,
uh,
but
Classic Apollyon.
yeah, yeah. But then, uh, but the people were like, "Oh, this sucks," and because Arcturus hates Apollyon, he'll take any chance he gets, right? So Arcturus shows up, and then they fought. Blah, 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 blah. And this cycle happened, and then Arcturus created a new island for the people who, because the previous island had been wrecked, and that was the first island. and the second island, which is Rantai, or sorry, Tuval, Rantai is the city, got created. And then, and so they had the new island there. Everything's great. Everybody's happy, except then the elves show up. Why did the elves show up? Because there was Arcturus energy, and the elves liked that, or at least this group of elves did, and so they
If I
tracked it.
may,
Yeah, good.
I don't think we've specified in this episode what those two gods are gods of.
Evil, yeah, Arcturus, god of creation, chaotic good. Polyon, god of destruction, chaotic evil. Um, but yeah, so elves show up, and the elves kind of like teach, but they don't get like heavily involved with things, and they work more with the Tupi than they do with the Waka, and the Tupi use this and enslave the Waka. And then the elves kind of leave. Some elves stick behind, but most of the elves leave. Um, and then the destruction cycle turns out is still here, and so that happens, and the Tupi get messed up by that more than the Waka, and the Waka go over to Wanatuma, that the new island that formed. Um, and then things go further. That's kind of what this city. That's the bit of lore, old ancient lore, the city kind of made you guys informed of. The fact that the elves showed up looking for Arcturus stuff and then left. Yeah. Anyway.
That's like kind of that's kind of mean to just show up and leave.
Yeah, though the elves were not did not behave great. There, that group of elves. They weren't. They
Like
weren't.
it's probably not intentional, but every like your elves are very like classical elves in that sense. Doing that, that sort of our age kind of puts us on like a different level than you, so we don't care about you kind of thing.
Right, right. Well, it wasn't that they did like show up, but they remained detached. And because the Tupi were like kind of in power, and the elves didn't do much to challenge that, they just kind of made the Tupi more powerful and the Waka more oppressed as a result. But it wasn't because the elves didn't want to do that; they just didn't get involved, right? So, um, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. The sort of apathy that elves often have, and like they
right,
don't get involved with us
right,
because
right.
like their timeline is so different, type thing.
Mm. So anyway, back to what was happening. Um, so you head to the plaza and find one intact building.
And then I assume we investigate the building.
You do.
I don't think we mentioned this, but Priscilla was with us this whole time underwater, right?
Yeah, you mentioned it kind of. Yeah.
We did?
Yeah, yeah. She gave
My
us the
bad.
potions.
Yeah, but she could have given those the potions,
Oh, yeah,
and
just
then we
set you
went
down.
underwater.
Right, right. Okay, you saved there. Yeah, she was hanging out with you. She was involved in the combat and stuff. Um,
Yeah, an
Yeah, she could
investigator.
swing a sword and stuff.
okay, yeah. So this thing you find, I don't think you ever learned, but it's the Temple of the Green Seekers, who are like worshippers of Arcturus. Um, and there's in the hall there's depictions of a staff controlling powers, and then there's words that Priscilla reads out to you guys. Do-do-do. She sees the doorway and describes what the elven writing says, and what it says is the blood of an elf who seeks Arcturus. Um, Proof of Arcturus's favor. So essentially this was me being like, okay, we need Elika to do a thing because she's following
And then we
Arcturus and she's
killed
an elf.
Elika.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so Elika like cuts her palm or something, puts it up to the door, this door you're trying to get into, and it opens her. Oh, she opens it with her blood and the shard of creation that you guys gotten back from Kadir. So there you go, proof of
Mm.
Arcturus' favor and the elf of the blood who seeks Arcturus. There you go, and the door opens. Um, and you head down this thing, this opened up area, and
Yep.
you find. Do you remember what you find there?
This is the staff, right?
The staff. Yes.
We found a staff with a. I don't know if we found it with a shard of creation, but it it was like a conduit for the shard's power,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. It can
Uh,
also shift into different weapons, I think.
yes. Yes, it can. So what this? I'll describe a bit more, but I'll describe how you get it. So you head down to the room and find and activate the Staff of Creation, and after some experimentation, it is turned into a bracelet on Elika's wrist. So Elika's keeping it. And I also remember I didn't note it, but this the way this happened was there was like a barrier between all of the water and the actual wall. The staff was like embedded into the wall, like spread out like a tree into it,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was like embedded there. And you guys, so you walked through this like barrier into the dry chamber, and then I think Elika like touched it or something, and it like woo, activated, came onto the wall, and then she realized, oh, I can shift how it looks and moves, and she turned it into a bicep.
Yep.
Um, what is this staff? It's well, I can say these staff. This is one. This was like this isn't like a singular staff. The elves that arrived made a couple of different things. The staffs are rare, but they're not singular, and the elves made these stabs. And this is just one you were able to find.
So it's a staff of creation, not the
A
staff of
staff of creation,
creation.
yes, and it like picks up, and we can talk about what it does in a moment or two, because it gets used. So you guys swim back up to the ship, because you've got
Yep.
mostly what you were looking for, and you see there's a much larger ship next to your ship. Um, do you remember this?
Yep.
I do.
You do. What happens?
There's a bunch of guys trying to rob our ship.
Yeah.
And then we proceeded to beat their asses.
Yes.
One of them had like a fear. He was a reach weapon,
Uh,
and then he had
yeah.
fear.
He had a reach trip build.
Reach trip build, yep.
Yep.
Which
It
one thing to
it
note about okay, Kevin.
it made everyone scared to get close to him. It's
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah. So it was at this point, around this point, that I started to actually understand how to build characters and like what different builds were possible and like how you could combo stuff. And one of a well-known combo in Pathfinder is you can substitute an attempt to trip somebody, um, for an attack, any attack you make. So if you normally like swing to hit somebody, well, instead you can swing to just try and trip. And then when you trip them, they fall over and they can't move. And then if they try and stand up, you get an attack of opportunity. And so if you have a build that lets you reach people before they can hit you, and they try and run up to you, and you trip them, and you're really good at tripping, so you trip them, and they try and stand up, and you get to hit them. Um, and this is a very mean build to throw at the players, especially a bunch of inexperienced players. But I was just excited. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool! I can build this build. He can trip. He has reach. Oh my god! And then you guys got to, like it was actually happening. And during the fight, I was like, oh shit! Oh no! They have no idea how to handle this at all. Um,
Yep.
but I think Orcus and Fyrus did not damage him at all. Um, the way he got dealt with was Elika and Shanla just doing little chips of energy damage while dealing with like other mooks, other like grunts around. Just
Yeah.
like little
There
bits
was
of energy.
also like,
Mm.
if I may, there was also I think he also had a fear ability, like to
No,
make people run from
he
him.
had an ally who cast fear. I forget who got feared, but yeah, you remember that correctly.
It was me.
You got feared. Okay,
I remember
yeah.
because it was me.
That's why I didn't damage him good.
Yeah. Well, also, I think there, you may have got released from it and still couldn't get quite close to him. I just yeah, I remember rooting. It was very awkward this combat, and I immediately went, oh, maybe don't throw the meta hard trip build at the players. That's a little mean.
I think he also had fortuitous on his weapon.
He did, yeah. So he was like an attack of opportunity build. He was hitting you guys a bunch, he was tripping you a bunch. It was a super annoying build to throw at you guys, and I realized immediately I was like getting caught up and having fun with the build rather than making a good fun enemy to
Yeah.
fight.
I think nowadays if you threw it at like the same threw that build at the same players, they'd do a lot better against
Oh,
it
definitely.
because they understand how reach and stuff works now, and
Yeah.
you know. But it's still funny. It's just like, well, clearly that thing creates danger when I get close to it, so I'm not going to get close to it.
Yeah,
The
it was
casters can
funny.
deal with that now.
Yeah, yeah. I do because I was just like I remember just being like, "Oh shit, I fucked up." As when both like no one was getting close to him and just nobody attacking the man. I was like, "Ah." Luckily, you guys could do the energy damage, so you got dealt with.
Of course, I
Um,
couldn't get near him because I was a caster.
no, but you could do damage to him.
Yeah, the spells.
So anyway, I'll read through the exact sequence of this, how this happened because there was a bit before of stuff that happened before the actual fight. Um, Do. So Orcus, before the fight starts, sneaks onto the larger ship because you're in the water. You can just swim under. Um, while Elika, Shanla, and Fierce go up onto their ship. So you guys go up and you talk. You try and talk at first with them. You're like, "Hey, don't. This is mean. Please." And
Piss
that
off.
doesn't. Yeah. And negotiations can quickly break down on the ship. And Orcus makes his way down. And your guys' crew had been captured and brought onto the other ship. So Orcus make your way down there. You free your crew. Um, apparently pretend to be the member of the enemy crew for a moment. Uh, and then when you hear fighting break out, you throw the keys to like one of the people you freed and go to help with the fight. Um, and combat starts with the classic, like as soon as Gavin you realize oh negotiations are breaking down, you're like okay I shoot him.
Yep.
And kind of combat starts with Shanla blasting the captain with fire, and ends when the captain dies.
You used the staff in that moment
I
too,
think
didn't
you
you?
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the effects, I'll describe the effect. These weren't nailed down until like the final session, but assuming it has, it like kind of uses up a shard of creation as energy, and if it has a shard of creation, it allows you to do a couple things. As a so you have to like activate it as a swift action, but then it can do all of these things. It can heal 5d6 in a 30-foot radius. It can heal 10d6 on a single target up to 100 feet away. It can remove any one condition, negative condition. It can remove, it can dispel magic as of a caster level 4 higher on a single target 100 up to 100 feet
Mm.
away. It can do Breath of Life, which is a spell that can revive someone from dead from up to 100 feet away. And remember, all of this is a swift action. Um, that this was something that came up in the final fight, not here. The thing you actually use the Staff of Creation for that was nailed down that as it can do, it can also cast any spell or magical ability that the character can cast or do 4 levels higher than their class level. So if you have Fireball that does 66, with this you can cast it and do it 10d6. Which is decent.
I think it got me another ray
It did.
on
It
my
did.
scorching ray.
Yeah. So you did a bunch of damage. That was like a bunch of damage to the guy at the start, and then throughout he got chipped
Yep.
from I think electricity damage from Elika and fire damage from you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that was I remember we ended session right as the combat ended. So we opened up the next session, which we're going to also cover. Um, right as like combat had ended, but hadn't like resolved. Um, I guess any
Yeah.
thoughts about anything that's happened so far from you two before we go into the next session that happened?
Not particularly.
No.
I
I
do
think it was
remember that combat being like pretty annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was good lore, but yeah, the combats were less than our best.
Speaking of lore, I have a question for you two. Um,
Hmm.
how do you feel about like lore in game? Do you get particularly interested about it? Or is it like eh? Is it I'll ask.
I'm usually pretty interested in lore.
Mm,
Same thing goes for me in video games. I'm usually pretty interested in like who's doing what, why this is like this.
mm,
You know,
right. Tom?
I quite enjoyed
Oh,
the
sorry.
cycle between Arcturus and Apollyon destroying and creating the island.
Right.
I I always like hearing about your world.
Mm,
Like I always like hearing those stuff, because A, you get to talk about a thing you created, which is nice, and
mm,
B, it's just like more stuff for the knowledge bank in of playing in the game.
right. Um,
Like one of my favorite things I ever did was in a different campaign with the
mhm.
what's his name, the rot guy, the decay god cult.
Oh, Atrophus. Uh,
Yeah,
I think that's the
Trophus
first
thing.
mention of Atrophus, lawful evil, god of decay, and what's the
Poverty?
poverty? Yeah, he gets known as like the god of poverty, but he's also like heavily associated with decay and rot and stuff. Go ahead. What you're saying, Tom?
Because we only meet him in campaign 2, but like we
Mm,
learn about him and the way their like worshippers walk, and then I
mm,
applied that knowledge in a later campaign to do a thing, and it's like
right.
understanding the world lets you do stuff in the world as your character
So
really
you like
well.
you enjoy that being able to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got accused of metagaming for it, but I don't think it was.
No, no, yeah, especially with stuff like that, where it's like your character could theoretically have known because your characters exist in the world, presumably know more about the world than you
Yeah.
as players do. So or at least have more
Yep.
immersed in it. Um, Gavin, do you have any like particular moments or lore you thought was interesting or fun to engage with? You can, if it was in other campaigns, you can mention it, but vaguely.
I had in the next campaign, I have a character who comes from Barhara, and I
Mhm.
made jokes about Barhara being communist, and it
Yes.
was quite fun to make communism jokes like all the time.
Right, right.
Especially with the Red
But
Queen.
by knowing lore, you can like make comparison to our real life and
But yeah,
But
I like a lot of the different nations and their different philosophies on how to handle a society.
right, right, right.
I like any and all lore.
lore's always good because it does come off as exposition, but it's always the way we learn about it is always in world reasonable. The way
Mm.
you do it, I find.
Yeah, I definitely do make an effort to like not be like, "Hey guys, here, sit down, time for the lore dump." I try to avoid doing that. I put it there, and I'll mention it. Like I'll make you have to engage with it a little to maybe complete like one task, but only like a little. And if you want to dig more, you guys are free to dig more. Um,
It's the history books you just read. It's the old man you were listening to tell us his life story. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what's it called? Why can't I think of it? The what I just used
History.
explaining everything.
Oh, exposition.
Yeah, exposition. Because
Mhm.
exposition kind of exists in real life.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah. So like you like when it's really it's not just me running you guys through when it's like
Yeah,
grounded in
it's not
like
just yeah, because like you learn exposition in scenarios. It's not just
right, right, right.
I'm gonna tell you stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely try not to just tell you guys stuff. It's sometimes frustrating on my part because I'm like, oh, it's so cool. I want to tell them, show them, but I have to get you guys to care. uh, yeah. So anyway, we pick up. As I said, the fight had ended but hadn't resolved. In particular, some of the enemies had surrendered when their captain died, and one of them, a sorcerer who had been the other particularly notable member of this enemies, um, who, well, I'll note is I don't know if you guys ever learned this, but this person was like a half sibling of Elika. They were a half elf.
Mm.
Yeah, they were. Uh, we'll get more into exactly what the nature of why that is, but they were the seventh of a number of siblings, and Elika was the eighth. So I think Elika was the youngest at this point
I did
of
not
the.
know that.
Yeah. You guys attempt to capture this demon sorcerer because they had demon powers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what they did?
No.
No, Tom.
I fear teleport. I don't know.
No, they blew themselves up. They blew
Yeah,
themselves
I
up.
figured they killed themselves.
Yeah, and you like cornered them, and they were like, and then they just blew themselves up. I remember they were not like stoic about it, but they did it.
Detonate.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. I think one of you guys got caught in it, but you were fine.
Probably me.
No.
It was usually Orcus.
Well,
God of pain, God of suffering.
It was a real
uh,
Sisyphean life for him.
yeah, yeah,
It just happens.
so you guys now have captured this enemy ship. They've surrendered or died. So now you have two ships. You free some. There are some Avasarans on this ship because it's a Fleet Master ship. What the Fleet Master, the reason he's called the Fleet Master is he's the guy who goes over to Avasara and captures Avasarans, or more accurately, is given Avasarans by one of the more cruel tribes on Avasara, the Whitetail. There's a particularly powerful tribe known as the Whitetail, a bunch of catfolk. They do a lot of the slave activity and hand them off to the Fleet Master, who then brings them back. That was never really mentioned, but that was how that worked. Which is why is Druin Blacktail. He's one of the he's a
Mm.
post. He's
I
from a.
hate to be that guy, but aren't most claws white?
I said white tail, not white claw.
Oh, why did I think white claw?
uh, but yeah, no, that's and
So I'm
Druin.
an idiot.
So Druin was from a tribe that had gotten very messed up by the whitetail. He was from the blacktail, and so yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so you speak with the Eversarans. They're very grateful. You put the defeated slavers that are still alive in the ship's brig, or like you just lock them up in there, and you make your way back to Perico. Um, you sell the loot and the ship itself in Perico. Probably gives you a decent payday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're back. Druin tells you guys about what happened, what he has learned from interviewing the Stone Chain wizard that you guys captured it during the raid. Um, what did they learn? Let's see if I noted that anywhere. Oh yeah, this is where you learn that Messerar Lokar, the evil wizard who dropped you guys in an acid pit, is
Yep.
behind the creation of the void beasts and the beads of destruction. Beads of destruction. That's what they're called.
Mm.
Oh, it reminds me. I remember last time I was confused about Brazier versus Brazier. It's Brazier. I was
Mm-hmm.
just noting that.
Good job.
Yeah. You guys sleep on the ship in Perico. Um, and at this point, you guys were. There was a letter sent to the party by Forces, not just Orcus, but Orcus happens to wake up first, and so he gets the letter. Um, and I'll read that off now. Um, the recent actions of you and your group have created an opportunity. Come in a single ship with only trusted associates, and Druin Blacktail at the time and location indicated below. Tell Druin this is an opportunity to free every slave on Tuval. I believe this is an opportunity that all involved can benefit from. Forces are back. And then he probably listed the time. Oh yeah, at 8 p.m. Look
Yeah,
at that.
I remember that.
That was an immediate share with party scenario.
Oh yeah, yeah. It says the group discusses the letter and decides to meet with Forces. And Shanla goes and tells Druin about the letter, and he agrees to come. And so you guys, whatever the time specified, I think you guys like had a day or two before this.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys go and do a couple things. Um,
Buying, selling. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you head back to Little Avasara on Maleku and spend the day
For
relaxing.
some reason, I was thinking it was called New Avasara.
Little Avasara, because it's just a town.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys spend the day resting. There's a new because there's been like a lot of interaction between Little Avasara and Wanatuma in particular. There's been a bar that's been established for like Wanatumans who want to come over and hang out and have a good time. And it's although the name I'm not a fan of the name I came up with. Tropical flavors. That feels
Yeah,
racist. That feels racist.
that's
No, that's
problematic,
just like
Tyler.
a bar made by a guy who's trying to
Yeah.
like, who thought a bar would be like really easy to manage and it would be like
Right.
just quick money, but now he realized, oh shit, a bar's really hard. So
Hmm.
he like wasted his life trying to make it work, but it's not really working that well.
It's been like a week since this bar was established. It's,
So he's in the process of learning that owning a bar is actually a difficult task. Got it.
no, the bar was run by Avasarans, which is why it's like it sounds like a bar created by somebody who isn't Avasaran. That's Avasaran inspired, but it's not. It's from Avasarans, which is why the name should be different. I'm not happy with that name.
You should retcon it.
I probably, in my mind, it is something different. Whatever it is in modern day, it's not that in the modern current version of my setting. Um, so you guys go there with the crew, and apparently Elika brings some girls she met back to the boat, and I'm sure has a great time. Next day, you meet with Druin and head to the meeting point. Um,
Yep.
Druin goes and meets with Forces first, and apparently he leaves the room angry, but seems to have agreed to work with Forces because like he just met with like one of the people he probably hates most in the world, but
Yeah.
he needs to work with him for the better good of his people. So yeah, so he's agreed to do that. Whatever they've
Mm-hmm.
discussed. Um, and then you guys meet with Forces, and he offers assistance with evacuation. Because there's going to be the destruction. It's coming. That's what's kicking off a lot of these events. And
Yep.
and they have Rantai has a good number of boats. In particular, the fleet master has a good number of boats, so you can get his boats for a lot of evacuation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he and he offers to tell Orcus about his mother, Orcus's mom. Um,
Yeah,
don't know if that happens this
I
session.
remember.
So yeah, there's some. He offers to reveal some things to you guys, but he doesn't actually reveal them now. That'll be in the next episode. So we'll talk about them then. But yeah. And you guys
Ooh,
return to Little Avasara and rest there, and then head to the Maja Grove, and Elika speaks with Mr. Bismer, Gamal, and Mira. Um, and I think this might be the last appearance in campaign of Mr. Bismer. I don't think he shows up again.
Mr. Bismer.
Mr. Bismer. Yes.
because Mr. Miser dies, obviously.
Oh yeah. No. So
Heroically.
you guys head to Hintella on Wanatuma, and Shanla sets up for and has a special night with Mela. I don't remember what any of the setup was. I'm
It
sure
was a
they had
date,
fun. It was a
but
date.
it went catastrophically because I remember you told me to roll for it, and I rolled a bunch of ones.
Right.
It was
Oh,
it was a very constant. Whenever Sean would interact with Mela, it was I would roll
you get
very
ones.
terribly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Truly, the dice decided you were a disaster lesbian.
Yeah, we
Yep.
role played Shanla being like an absolute mess and Mela just being like, "Oh, that's okay. Oh, that's cute." Oh. um,
Yeah.
and then
Sometimes the dice decide what your character does.
the last thing is the next day you guys set off for Rantai because there's Forces has a big plan. You guys are going to be helping with that next time. But at this point, 1 month and 2 days have passed since the start of the campaign. Um, and that is where we'll be ending off, unless there's anything you guys feel is worth talking about, discussing, thoughts, ideas, opinions.
Nope. Other than I'm excited for the next episode because I know it's a lot of crazy shit happens.
Cool then. Then that is where we'll end off. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Peace.